Welcome to the Observe Day podcast, the show where we celebrate the days that matter. From holidays to meaningful observances, we bring you inspiring conversations, stories, and ideas to make each day count. Whether it's raising awareness, learning something new, or simply sparking joy, this is your space to explore the calendar in a whole new way. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and I'm excited to share today's observance with you. Let's dive in. Today's guest is Emily Guerra, a productivity life coach, speaker, and the founder of the Productivity Flow. Emily works with entrepreneurs and hybrid professionals who want to break free from hustle culture and create sustainable productivity habits. Drawing from neuroscience, mindset coaching, and our own journey as a solopreneur, she helps people design systems and routines that support both progress and balance. Through coaching, courses, and content, Emily teaches practical strategies for overcoming mental blocks, building focus, and making meaningful daily progress without burnout. Today we'll talk about mindful productivity, the connection between productivity and mental health, and how small changes in routine can transform the way we work and live. Welcome to the podcast, Emily.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Emily, productivity means different things to different people. When did you personally start questioning the idea that success has to come from constant hustle?
Ooh, so I really started getting into this during the COVID-19 pandemic. At the start of the pandemic, I was actually an event and wedding planner, and I would do all kinds of different in person events. And then once the pandemic happened, events stopped, and I was
Yeah.
out of work pretty immediately. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life? I don't know. I need to make money. I got to move forward. And so I started freelancing out random services, and I pretty soon built up a clientele. And that's really when I began my work from home career. And most of my freelance clientele, everyone else was also working from home. We were still at the start of the pandemic, but then I was also working with a lot of entrepreneurs and freelancers and solopreneurs. And I realized that all of us were kind of stuck in this hustle culture mentality, that all of us were constantly racing to get more done in less time, always stressing ourselves out, adding to the overwhelm, adding to the anxiety. And after a couple months, I was like, there has to be a better way to do this. Like, this cannot be what working from home is like. I love working from home, but I'm also really stressed out. And I need to find a better way of going about this. And so that's when I really started looking into productivity hacks, productivity systems, understanding what productivity even is. And truthfully, I did not love what I found. I learned that this notion was really ingrained in all of our beliefs. And that notion is that we have to constantly be busy and constantly be hustling in order to be successful. And that's just not how our brain works. It's
What's
not
the
how our
difference?
body works.
What's the difference between being busy and being productive?
Ooh, well, I find the biggest difference is progress. When you
Mm.
are busy, you're just busy. You're not necessarily moving anything forward. You're not necessarily making more money. You're not necessarily actually hitting any goals. You're just busy, right? Yet when you're productive, you're creating momentum. You're moving something forward, whether that's a goal, a project, a task, a meeting, a personal goal, a personal project, a hobby, your workout, it doesn't matter. As long as you're moving something forward, you are truly being productive, right? And so I think that big difference is what made me get into becoming a productivity coach, because I wanted people to see that you do not have to constantly be busy in order to be successful. You do have to make progress, of course, right? And what's the difference? And how can we figure that difference out in your own personal life, in your own personal workload, and all those things? So that way, because something I always say is productivity is personal, right? What works for me is not necessarily what's going to work for you. And so we have to figure out what are the systems that actually enable a little bit more balance, a little bit more mindfulness, but also maintain progress.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned progress because
Mhm.
a lot of people have like 1,000 things to do on their to-do
Oh,
list,
yeah.
and on the day when they're able to like knock out 100 as productive, right? And even though that's part of those productivity tasks might be um okay, what's a common thing that even though it's is insane, yet it's part of people's to-do list. An example would be uh, check the kitchen, right?
Yeah,
And fold my clothes,
oh,
right?
totally.
Brush my teeth, right? Now,
Yep.
I'm not saying any of those things are wrong, but these are things that you knock them out and you could do 20, 30 of them. And at the end of the day, you start wondering at the end of the month, you're like, oh, what's happening? No, I did a lot of
Yep.
things, but what happened, right? What's going
Oh
on?
my God. Yeah. I hear all the time from coaching clients that they feel busy all day long, and then they get to the end of the day and they look back and they're like, what did I even do? like, did I actually move I didn't even move anything forward. Like, how was I busy all day? Yet none of my task list is done or none of my priorities got handled. Like, what happened? Right. And that's really common, really, really, really common. And so I truly do believe that it's kind of about figuring out just top three things, right? What are the three things that you really want to be productive today in? Because you're right, we have a bajillion items on our to do list, and we always will, right? And we're
Yeah,
not going to be able to make progress in every single item every single day. But we can make progress in one, two, or three items every day, right? And that is honestly that is enough, especially when you spend like a dedicated hour on something, like you will make more progress than you think.
yeah. Well, yeah, we are talking about that being busy is not productive. The productivity is actual progress. And for a lot
Mm.
of people, especially when they're working on the goal they've never worked on before, it's hard to set progress. What do we know? How do we, okay. If we use the wrong KPI, we will be forced to work on the wrong things. So how do we intentionally set progress that is actual progress that leads us to focus on the right things instead of the wrong things? Does the question make sense?
Yeah, no, that question makes perfect sense. And I think it definitely depends on the thing, right? Something that I always try to do is I try to make my projects, my tasks, really whatever I'm working on, measurable. So, what do I mean by that? What are the actual steps that I need to do? And I will honestly, especially for large projects, I love actually breaking it down. Like, step one is this, step two is this, step three is this. So then I have like an action plan, right? And for me, that kind of serves as my North Star for this project. So if I can get steps one, two, and three done today, I've made progress, I've moved forward, and I can call this a productive day. And so, actually defining that before you get into the project, I think can be really, really helpful in having you understand, like, yeah, I did enough today. Or maybe I should just do one little thing just to complete step three, and then I feel like I'll do enough today. Right. So, actually creating that action plan for yourself is so key. Now, one little caveat, let your plan be a little flexible, right? Life happens, right?
Yeah,
Especially if you work from home, right? Especially if you have kids, right? So you got to give yourself a little bit of grace. Let's say you set out to do steps one, two, and three today, but you only got through steps one and two. You still made progress. You still moved forward, right? And you moved the project along. And ultimately, that's all that matters because progress compounds. A little bit every day will get you much farther than you trying to go all in one day and drain yourself.
yeah. Well, setting up, breaking down the task, and
Mhm.
sometimes, how do I explain this now? One of the mistakes I see people making is, I don't know if it's a mistake, but you tell me, is let's say I want to grow my YouTube channel to 10K subscribers.
Mhm.
Now, growing my YouTube channel to 10K subscribers is not exactly something I can control. So sometimes it's hard because now we're focused on the output instead of the input. And we don't actually get the input done. And so the 10K, the whatever the number was, make $10,000 or whatever the amount is. It's how do I explain? So what I'm saying is that we focus on the output, not knowing that the input is what we control. So how do we reframe the goal in a way that we can know what the core input is, and the core input becomes our goal? Does that make sense?
Oh, that makes perfect sense. And I think you really hit the nail on the head. And I do think it actually can be a mistake sometimes. I do think we always want to know what the end result that we're gunning for is, right? You need, ultimately, that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
However, the real goal is consistency, is actually getting to that end number, right? And so I think reframing it as like, yes, that end goal, that's what I'm working towards, but that's the big picture goal. What's my daily goal? What's my weekly goal? What's my monthly goal? Right. And that's where you really break it down. And so I love working backwards. So let's say you have an end goal. You want to get to 10K subscribers on your YouTube channel. And right now, let's say you're only at 5K. Right. And
Yeah.
so don't necessarily give your end goal like a date. I see so often that people will have a date for their goal. I want to get to 10K subscribers by the end of the month. And the end of the month comes and they're not quite there. And so they feel defeated and they want to give up and they don't think that goal is right for them anymore. And they just let it go, right? When in reality, they probably just needed a little bit more time and they would have gotten there. I see people give up on their goals way too early because it's a date that they set, arbitrary date that doesn't actually matter. And so they get really frustrated and give up. We want to avoid that, right? So I don't necessarily like setting dates for the end. I like setting dates for the action steps instead. And so work backwards, right? What do you need to do to get to that 10K subscriber? Maybe you need to create partnerships. Maybe you want to be guests on other people's podcasts. Maybe you want to tap into new social media networks that you're not in yet. Maybe you want to open up an email list, right? There's a bunch of different things that you can do. And so working backwards and figuring out, okay, starting at the end, all the way through the beginning, and then you have an action plan, right? And that action plan, that's your goal now. Now you can kind of let go of the end result because that's going to come as long as you follow your action plan. And now
Yeah.
you can just really focus on the action plan itself, right? So that's a process that I have done. I practice myself for all of my own goals. And I have workbooks for my coaching clients to do themselves too, because it's really beneficial when you can actually lay it out and visually see it.
Well, one of the questions I have been wanting to ask the productivity experts is what productivity tools do you use?
Yeah, totally. So I like to keep my tech stack kind of simple.
Okay.
I love technology, but I don't want to use too many at once just because I'm ADHD. I get overwhelmed. I get distracted. I know that about myself. So I do like to keep it pretty simple. So on my Gmail and on my phone, I use something called Google Tasks, and it's a free app and it connects with my email. So let's say I'm getting activities that I need to do from freelance clients. I can literally turn that email into a task with a click of a button. And it's so
Oh, wow.
simple. And then I can actually assign a time and a date in my Google Task, and it adds it to my Google Calendar. So now I've gone from my email into my calendar with literally two clicks of a button. And it is so awesome for time blocking your tasks, for saving all the information that you need in one place. And it's free, right? Which is always a big bonus.
Yeah.
Um, Another tool that I use pretty much on a daily basis is AI, right? I personally love using ChatGPT. My fiance, he's a Claude guy. I've recently just gotten into vibe coding and building apps and stuff. So I'm having
Yeah.
so much fun with that. But really using ChatGPT, I call it Chatty, my good old friend Chatty. Um, Using ChatGPT as like my virtual assistant almost, right? Do my admin work for me. That doesn't actually take brain power, but it takes time. And I don't want to deal with it, right? So those kind of things that can be so simple, I always have ChatGPT do it. I also use ChatGPT for a lot of my first drafts, right? I'll never use it for a final draft, but to get me going, get me started, right? Let's say I want to write a new blog and I have a couple of ideas and I know what I want to say, but I just need help organizing it. I'll brain dump into ChatGPT and have it organize it for me. And then I'll take it from there and actually write it. So ChatGPT is definitely something that's been a major time saver for those activities that don't necessarily need all the brain power, but do need a little bit of time to do, right? Another tool that is so incredibly simple, and I swear to God, is one of the best things for keeping yourself on track, letting go of perfectionism, and consistently moving forward. And it's not technology, actually. It is my little cube timers right here.
Oh,
I
how does that
got them
work?
so these are gravity timers. And as you can see on each side, there's a different duration, right? And so all
Okay.
you do is flip it over and then it immediately starts the timer and it starts a little countdown right here. And when the timer is up, it just goes beep, 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 beep. And then you know your timer's up. And I have two. So this one is just like 1 minute,
More task, yeah.
3 minute. Yeah, really small minutes, right? This one, 15, 20, 60, and 30. So I will often set like a 15-minute timer and then I'll do three 5 minute timers within it. So that way I can do like a couple 5 minute tasks real quick, just get them going. And within 15 minutes, I get three things done, right? So I love using timers to stay aligned with the daily plan that I set for myself. And just having a timer set for an estimated duration of a task, or let's say I'm cutting myself off after 30 minutes, I'll set my 30-minute timer. And as soon as that timer is up, I'm like, okay, time to close this out and move on to the next thing. Right. So it really does help you like actually stay on the plan that you want to stay on. So those are my three like top favorite things that I use on a daily basis that is truly ingrained in how I work.
Yeah. Do you use
What
like
about you though? I'd love to know like if you have a tool or two that you love using.
well, okay.
Yeah.
uh, oh well, I use Notion for
Oh, I
team
love Notion.
management, wiki and everything.
Yes.
Or it's like all the knowledge base, everything. If anybody has to ask me any question, it's there in Notion, right? Rather than yeah, so what
Yeah.
are we supposed to do again? It's in Notion. And then I use I think a tool I've been trying and I kind of like the way the tool is designed. It's called Griply. And usually, we have
Yeah.
tasks and so I'll give an example. What you recommended just now when you said break down the goal. And so
Mm,
let's say for example I wanted to make $10,000 this month, right? I would set it as a goal and then I would break it down in Griply the tasks I will need to do, and then the tasks that are habits, right? I'll say, okay, how many times do I need to do this daily? Let's say reach out to 10 people to buy my offer or service, right? And like that. And so what happens is that when I go to Griply, I know what I need to do every day without wondering, oh, that's
yeah.
true. Oh, that what? So I don't even have to think about the big goal of make $10,000, right? I'm like, okay, Griply, okay, I do this, and because most of the productivity tools we have, you have all these tasks and to-do lists, and none of them is connected to the main thing, which is the goal. We actually know if we're making progress and all that. And so I kind of like the tool. Yeah, it's a fairly new tool, so that's what I've been using for the
Oh
tax
my God,
thing.
I need to check that out. That sounds awesome. I haven't heard of that one, but it literally exactly what you explained was literally my tip. So I love that. I definitely need to check this one
Yeah,
out.
yeah, so that's what I'm using. I'm using Notion Griply, and I think that's it. For tax management, for calendar, I use Google Calendar,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's that's it. I use Google Calendar, and I use Zcard. So anybody wants to chat with
Oh
me,
yeah.
and they book a time, and pretty much it. So calendar task, Notion is for project management,
Yeah.
kind of wiki note stuff, but for notes, what have I been using for writing notes? I use Evernote. Yeah,
Yeah. Dude, those are great tools, honestly. And I love that they all like really do work together. And Google Calendar, I really like Google Calendar. I think it has so many features that are really underutilized. So like
yeah,
for instance, right? Like if you set an out of office for when you end your workday. So that way if you have freelance clients for instance who are emailing you left and right and who are sending all these last minute requests or something like that, then put an out of office for when you want to end the workday and let them know, set those boundaries, right? It also has like a work focus. So when are you going to be focused? And it'll actually like eliminate some notifications for you to help you stay focused. And it'll
Yeah,
avoid booking meetings during that time. So that way you could stay focused. So checking out the Google Calendar features and actually using them, again, it's free. Right. So let's tap into what is literally at our fingertips that we are not using yet. And I find that it's those kind of tools that are the most effective because they're already a part of our ecosystem. And if we
yeah,
could just use them a little bit more and a little bit better, our ecosystem will improve.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for that recommendation. I did prepare a couple of rapid fire questions for you.
Ooh,
You
yeah.
ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. What's one productivity habit everyone should try?
Ooh, a workday shutdown ritual.
Hmm.
And what that is a little routine that you do at the end of your workday and you repeat it. It's the same routine end of every single workday to close work out and literally tell your brain, okay, good night, work. We're no longer thinking about you. Time to save it for tomorrow, right? So that way
Yeah.
you can actually have work life balance. So you can actually enjoy your evenings. And this is a productivity tip because when you don't have balance, being productive is actually a lot harder. You get a lot more drained, you burn out, you get more overwhelmed. So you really do need balance. It's not a nice to have, it's an essential, right? And so figuring out a little routine for yourself to close out work and actually have your evenings, you'll feel more productive in the mornings.
Okay. The second one is biggest productivity myth.
Biggest productivity what? Sorry.
MYTH.
Ooh, that we have to be busy to be successful. That is not true at all. It is a myth of, I think, like corporate culture trying to seep in and tell us that we have to constantly be working for other people on other people's goals instead of our own. So,
Yeah.
biggest myth.
Morning routine, morning routine or night routine.
Morning routine. Set your day
Okay.
up for success, right? I think, honestly, I think they're one and the same, right? But if I had to choose, I would say morning
Yeah.
routine to really set the tone for the day because your morning does trigger everything else.
Yeah. And the last one is digital tools or paper planning.
Depends on the person. Productivity is personal, right?
I'm asking you,
Um,
I'm concerned what you prefer.
I personally, I'm a paper girl. I created my
Mm,
own planner and I print it out every month. But I'm actually creating a digital one too. So
okay. 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 Thank you so much. Where can listeners learn more about the work you do and also connect with you?
yeah, everybody can find out more about my coaching, my free community, and my free resources on my website, theproductivityflow.com.
Okay. I'll put the link in the description so listeners can click and go directly to the site. Thank you so much, Emily. It's been fun chatting with you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Wisdom. Really appreciated this conversation. I had so much fun.
That's it for today's episode of the Observe Day podcast. Thank you for spending your time with us as we explore today's observance. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and share it with a friend who'd love to celebrate life special days too. Don't forget to join the newsletter at observeday.com/join for more observance stories, tips, and updates. Until next time, keep finding meaning in every day.